Happy Flexibility Friday. So today we're going to focus a little bit more on the hamstrings. I've had a lot of questions lately on how do I stretch my hamstrings. There are a lot of ways to stretch them, but also keep in mind if you're stretching the hamstrings, you want to make sure you're stretching the quads and the inner thighs and the outer thighs and the hips and a little bit of the lower back. So everything is connected. So think about the femur moving in the pelvis. It does make a difference on how your lower back is and vice versa. So we're going to stretch all of those today, and hopefully you'll get those hamstrings feeling a little better. So first we're just going to stretch. You could have a towel, you could have a strap, a yoga strap. Let's start on our hands and knees, and we're going to get that lower back warmed up just a little bit. So spread out those fingers, wrists and shoulders in line, nice long back. I'm going to tuck my toes under. That way you feel that slight stretch in the front of the foot. We're going to take a big breath in. As you exhale, roll it up. Push up through the shoulders, look through those legs. As you inhale, reverse it, drop the belly. Open the chest, open the shoulders, gaze up to the ceiling. Now you're going to keep that going, letting the movement of your body match that of your breathing. And most importantly, always, always within a pain-free range of movement. So as you do these cat-cows, maybe your movement is really small. That's okay. Always listen to how that body's feeling. Let's do one more. Take a big breath in and roll it up. And then back into a neutral position. We're going to bring those hips back, stack those hands, place the forehead down. You're in a child's pose position, but we're going to press that mid-back down toward the floor. Pressing those arms gently down. Few deep breaths here, feeling that stretch. Trying to sink a little bit further into the floor. Still pressing down gently through those arms, through that mid-back. Then we're going to bring it on up to our hands and knees. Let's bring the left hand behind the head. We're going to close it up and then open. So as you keep this going, again, think about moving through the middle back, keeping those hips a little steady. So not a lot of movement through the hips. This is helping getting mobility through the thoracic spine, which is a portion of the spinal column that you do want to have mobility through. One more. Open, a little pause, and release it. Let's bring that other hand behind the head. Nice long back. We're going to close it up and then open. Adding a little pause on the top. Again, moving through that middle back. Just a few more to go. One more. A little pause on the top. And release it. Again, stack those hands, bring the hips back. Forehead to the ground, press the arms down gently, press the chest down gently. Inhale, lengthen that back. And then press down a little bit more, sink your body into that floor. Then bring it back up to your hands and knees. From here, let's bring it back into a down dog. Now this is a great hamstring stretch. It also stretches the back of the calves, the ankles, stretches that back. Such a good stretch. So feet are about hip width apart. You're going to press down gently through the heels. Remember, they don't have to touch the floor, but you're going to press the heels down toward the floor. Pressing the chest down toward the legs. Your ears are right in between the biceps. Now from here, up to your tippy toes. And as you exhale, press those heels down just a little bit more. Can we go just a little further than last time, but still in that pain-free range of movement? Now from here, we're going to lift that left leg, bring it forward into a pigeon pose. Slide that right leg back. You can keep it up on your hands. You can bring it to your elbows. You can flatten it out. But you do want to press those hips evenly to the floor. As you inhale, again, think about lengthening the spinal column. As you exhale, sink that body, or sink the hips, I should say, a little deeper. Feeling that stretch through the left glute, through the left hips. Now we're going to bring those hands right underneath the shoulders. Bring yourself back up into that down dog. Again, press the heels down gently toward the floor. Chest pressing toward the thighs. We're going to bring that right leg up, bring that right knee forward toward the right wrist, slide that left leg back. And again, depending on how it feels on your body, you can keep it up on your hands, elbows, or flat. And again, always within a pain-free range of movement. So as you're stretching, if the position kind of catches your breath, you know you're not quite there yet. You know you need to pull back just a little bit. So just like the other side, as you inhale, lengthen through the spinal column. As you exhale, press those hips down. Really feel a good stretch. Again, you want to feel it through the right hip, through the right glute. Now we're going to bring the hands on the outside or underneath the shoulders, bring it up to your hands and knees. We're going to shoot that left leg out. Drive the hips back a little bit without without sitting back on the right leg. So you're going to tilt the tailbone up. Nice long back. You can have a yoga block, you can have something to rest onto. You can even be a little bit taller if you need to. So as you're here, you're pressing that inner thigh down into the ground. Foot could be flat or on the heel, whatever you prefer, whatever feels better actually for you. And again, as we inhale, think about lengthening. Lengthen that spinal column. As you exhale, press that inner thigh down a little bit more. So again, we're thinking about the leg, the hamstrings, the glutes, the quads, the muscles that just surround that leg or surround the hips. You want to hit them all. Then bring it up and we're going to switch. Shoot that other leg out. Well, too close to the wall. Okay, hips come back, nice long back. It's so easy to roll up, but you want to extend it long. Again, you could have a yoga block. You could have a bench if you need to. So work with how your body feels and how tight those muscles are. Sometimes we have more range of movement one day, a little tighter the next day, depending on work and depending on workouts. And then let's bring it on up to our knees. Now another one, great for those hips. Let's bring that left foot forward quite a bit. Tuck the tailbone, lengthen and hinge forward. You want to be able to see the big toe here. If not, move that foot forward a little more. Now the pelvis is tucked, ribs are in, chin's tucked in. So again, we have that nice long line down the spinal column. We're pressing forward gently through the right hip, squeezing that right glute. Let's bring that right arm up, turn the palm out and reach. Still pressing through that right hip. Still tightening that right glute. Feeling that stretch in the front of that right hip. Let's hold it for 4, 3, 2, relax that arm, bring it up and bring it back. Tilt that tailbone up a bit. Again, you can have something to hold on to, or you can have your hands on your thighs or your hips. Again, you just want that long back. So easy to roll up here, but extend, open through the chest, open through the shoulders. And feel that stretch. It's a good one. And then bring it up and let's switch. Right foot forward. Make it tall and then hinge forward. As you hinge forward, we're keeping those ribs wrapped in. Chin's tucked in a bit. Pressing forward through that left hip, squeezing that left glute. Let's bring that left arm up, turn the palm out and reach. Sometimes you have to play around with that positioning until you feel that good stretch. As long as that back stays long, that's the most important thing. Abs are in, ribs are in. Otherwise, you might just play around with it. Some people, it helps if they lift that back leg. Really feeling that stretch. So again, you want it to be within a pain-free range of movement. Let's hold it here for 4, 3, 2, relax the arm, flex the foot, drive those hips back, tilt that tailbone up a bit. Keep that long back as you feel the stretch through the glutes and the hamstrings. With the toe up, you're also stretching that calf, but if that calf's too tight, relax the foot. And release it. Okay, we are going to use a foam roller. So we're going to use a foam roller on the hamstrings and we're going to use it on the quad. So let's focus just on one side. We're going to place it underneath, mostly on the left side, and we're just going to roll down that hamstring to the glute and down that hamstring. Just make sure you don't roll over the knee. So glute to hamstring. We'll be here for a few minutes. Now you can press down into that foam roller to feel it a little more. Most of the body weight's on that left side, but if it's too much, take a little of the weight off. If you feel a little more tightness in the glute, focus in on the glute for a while. If you feel more tightness in the hamstring, focus in on the hamstring a little while. Now, as soon as we're done with that, we're gonna flip it right over and we're gonna focus in on that quad. So you're gonna place that quad on the left side, still the same side, and you're gonna go all the way down from the knee to the hip. So again, we're not gonna roll over the hip bones or over the knee, but just in between those 2 points. As you keep it going, you could roll around a little, getting different parts of that leg, hitting that foam roller. If you feel something that's really tight, maybe you're gonna focus in a little bit more on that spot. Now, once you're done with one leg, switch legs. This is what I always think. I'm glad I'm not an octopus. Could you imagine spending time stretching 8 legs? That'd be crazy. So again, starting with the glutes and the hamstrings. Find that spot that might be a little tight compared to the other spots. If you're thinking, wow, the whole thing's tight, then you're doing the whole thing. Maybe you'll do a little bit of inches at a time, working your way down that leg, or maybe you'll just keep flowing. Now, it might hurt, as in it feels really tight, but as you're doing this, if it feels like someone's stabbing you with a knife or, it's kind of burning, like on fire, that's not a good sign. Then you want to pull back and not do it. So again, you're going to spend time on the hamstrings and the glute, and then we'll flip on over, position it for that quad, and roll between the hip and the knee. And you could play around with that positioning of the leg on the roller. Spend as much time as you need to. But reminder, stretching the quads are just as important as stretching the hamstrings. Even if the hamstrings are the tight muscle, you want to stretch both. You want to stretch those glutes. You want to stretch that lower back. Okay, from here, we're going to bring it up. So, I'm going to keep it on my knees today. Knees about hip width apart. We're going to bring the right arm up, grab it with the left wrist, pull it over, push out through the hips. And to the center and switch. Push out through the hips, open through the ribs. And to the center. Both hands are going to come to the right side. Tilt your head to the right side. Press down real gently through the left shoulder. Now with those lips slightly apart, gaze up to the ceiling. Feel a gentle stretch through the left side of your neck. Let's bring it back to the center, gaze down at the floor. Back to the center and up, let's switch. Hands to the left, tilt your head to the left. Press down real gently through the right shoulder. Then again, with your lips slightly apart, gaze up to the ceiling. Back to the center, gaze down to the floor. I have to say these are one of my favorite stretches for the neck. And to the center and bring it on up. Shoulders up and back. Let's stretch it tall. And that's our Flexibility Friday for today. But on another note, if you have a percussion gun, you could use it for those hamstrings, the glutes, the quads, for that leg. So I've told some people, which is, you could use it any time of the day, before your workout, after your workout, but if you use it right before you go to bed and help those muscles loosen up, and then you go to sleep, you're gonna even get more benefit. So I have the Theragun. I love the Theragun. I have to be a little bit better about consistency as I use it, but it is a great tool. So if you have one, take it out of the box, take it out of under the bed, and use it. Get those muscles relaxed, and your body will thank you for it. Anyways, have a great weekend.